Third day of Black History Month, let's break down the myth that house slaves had it better than field slaves. Now, field slaves were tasked with the hard, back-breaking work of tending to everything outside a master's house. As soon as you were deemed old enough to contribute, and that could be considered as young as 5 or 6, you were in the field 18 hours a day picking cotton. Now, on the flip side of that, house slaves worked inside the house, and while their trauma wasn't specifically tied to physical labor, the trauma that they endured was mostly mental and sexual abuse by massa. Rape was so rampant by white enslavers that a study in 2016 showed that 16% of African Americans could be traced back to Europe. One of the most famous stories of this is President Thomas Jefferson raping Sally Hemings for years and fathering 6 of her children. History tried to whitewash this into a love story, but that's what we're here for. Sally Hemings, Cerelain.
Do you hate all white people?
I don't think it's a fair question. The white man doesn't even come into my attitude. Mr. Muhammad teaches us to love our own kind and let the white man take care of himself. For a white man today, sir, after kidnapping millions of black people from Africa, stripping them of all human characteristics and relegating them to the role of chattel or cattle or animals, commodity, merchandise that could be bought and sold at will, and then 100 years since the Emancipation Proclamation, using every type of deceptive method to further us into slavery, called second-class citizenship, I think that it would take a whole lot of nerve for white people today to ask Negroes, do they hate them?
Guys, we made it to February 2021 and it is Black History Month. We got 27 more days. They gave us the shortest month in the year, but it's okay. We'll do what we can, you know. All right. So this video, I want to talk about the word motherfucker. It came from slavery, of course. And my grandmother, who is 77 years old, she's always told me about this word and to never use it. I use it, you know, with my friends, but when I was younger, but I really understand now why she said do not use the word. Do not use that word because the white slave owners used to make the male slaves have sex with their mothers, and the white slave owners used to have sex with the Africans' mothers also, to pretty much get back or belittle them or to make a form of punishment, which the phrase motherfucker. It's very negative. I try not to use it if I can at all. So we did know, but now we know. Do what you want to do with that information.
Wait a minute. What's going on? You haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel yet? Nah, that's not okay. Let's go and fix this right now. Go on. What are you waiting for? Don't worry. I'll wait for you. Thank you.
Have you ever wondered why Black History Month was in February? Have you ever thought to yourself America was just being petty and gave us the shortest month of the year? Well, here's the truth. Black History Month was originally Black History Week and was started by Dr. Carter G. Woodson. Dr. Carter G. Woodson started Black History Week because black youth were not being taught their true history in elementary and secondary schools. Originally only celebrated during the second week of February, Dr. Woodson chose that month because Frederick Douglass, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington celebrated their birthdays during February, and at the time, the most important events concerning the black race occurred during that month. And with the support of President Gerald Ford, Black History Week officially became Black History Month in 1976. Black Lives Matter, y'all, all year.
Here's Black Patsy's full response to the Trump dance, and it's one of the best things the show ever put on air. And I'm not going to bash her for having her kid be in the dance because they have some crazy contracts that the producers put them through.
I don't like what building a wall represents, period.
Kathy would not do wrong by any of us.
At some point, it's time for you to just really stop brown-nosing her and look at this for what it really is. When she starts talking about the wall, there is a dual meaning behind that. What's going on with this country is who the hell this country just elected as president.
Why would she go and do that?
She's a Trump supporter. What the hell do you mean? Why would she do it? You know why she would do it. And she has every right to feel the way she feels about that man. It does not mean he is not offended gays and lesbians and black people and immigrants and Hispanics all over this country with his beliefs and the things that he has said.
We live in America. You have absolutely 100% right to feel the way you do.
You know why you feel like that? Because you're not a Muslim, you're not gay, you're not black, you're not a Hispanic. None of that applies to you. So
But you said George Floyd's death was a terrible thing.
Terrible.
Why are African Americans still dying at the hands of law enforcement in this country?
And so are white people. So are white people. What a terrible question to ask. So are white people. More white people, by the way.
Part 3 of the Devil's Punch Bowl. So why these plantation homes have become bed and breakfast places, and this Confederate cemetery is immaculately beautiful. There is actually no recognition, there's no marker, there's no nothing that indicates where the Devil's Punch Bowl is. We were able to find it whenever an older man actually pointed it out and told us about it, and told us that there is no marker. As we stood on the edge looking at that site, I was absolutely moved to tears just to look over. You can see the river, and it is said that when it rains a lot and the river fills up and goes into the Punch Bowl area, because it is along the Natchez River, then bones do float up. There are peach trees that actually grow in this area, but nobody will eat the peaches because they know it is fertilized by the dead bodies of African Americans.
Public service announcement. You ever wonder why we wear red on Valentine's Day? Well, it's because it comes from a pagan festival called Lupercalia, in which Roman priests would sacrifice goats, rip their flesh off, and smack women in the streets with them. The women believed being covered in this blood would help them with fertility. Being covered in this blood. Okay, thanks, bye!
Before there was Beyonce, there was Josephine Baker, a beautiful black woman who sang, performed, and popularized Shakin', her money maker. She was an openly bisexual woman known for her extravagant and provocative performances as an entertainer, but she couldn't contain her anger about racism and fascism, and that would make her want to influence change. She had left the United States to live in France since they were a little more accepting of black folks, so Josephine thrived. And throughout the 1920s and 30s, she was one of the richest black people alive. But when World War II came and the Nazis arrived in France, Josephine fled but soon came back. She hid other refugees that were fleeing from the Nazis and their attacks. Josephine soon came in contact with French military intelligence, and she began to use her celebrity and elegance to spy on the Nazis, and they did not see it coming. She finessed them and they weren't even aware. She'd even pinned military intelligence inside her underwear. She was so good that when the Nazis came to the crib she was hiding their enemies at, she was able to convince them that they weren't even there.
That's Black History. Y'all know about Jesse Owens? He grew up a weak child in the South, but Jesse became an Olympic gold medalist. That's right. In 1936, our homeboy attended the Berlin Olympics. And guess who was the host? For Nazis at the time, the Olympics were a way to showcase Aryan superiority. That's right. But Jesse won 4 Olympic gold medals. 4! And broke Olympic records. Jesse's contributions paved the way for athletes we see today. Get out my shot. Oh, sorry. So applause for Jesse. And remember, Black history is your history.
Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Bye.